for free. And so this is going to be proof that you get what you pay for. I was a little apprehensive about coming, to a presentation for a garden club, since I had absolutely no gardening experience whatsoever.
Neither do we.
I found this out, but originally I thought, well, the only thing I've ever managed to keep green was like cheese in my refrigerator. So not exactly good at this. But Mim had asked us to do this, and there's good reason for why we do this, because although you know her and she's a very sweet, kind, charming lady, and what you don't know is that her entire family and all of her in-law, all her sons-in-law and everything, are terrified of her. Absolutely petrified. She's so sweet, but she'll fool you. Now, if you've ever been to her house, then you know that in her kitchen she has these two killer birds that she has. They're actually they're in the will. The rest of us aren't, but she loves the birds and everything. And one's a sun-conure, right, and the other one is a cross-dressing transsexual African gray that actually is true. They discovered after how many years did you have? 15 years. They discovered it was a girl. So her name was Webster. And so now it's Ms. Webster. And the thing is that she calls it Sam and Webster, their names and everything. Well, that's what she will tell you. But they're really named the Killer and the Beak, because if you sit anywhere close, this bird will crawl up on the end of its perch, and it will. It's pretty terrifying. So you can always tell people who visited Sam's house for the first time, because they usually walk out with a tourniquet. But anyway, so I was make sure I could read all this. So I first met, I've been married to Kathy now for 15 years, so I've known Carol for quite a while. But the first time I really realized just how terrified I could be was early on. Actually, we were still engaged, and she lent me. We both love to read. I assume a lot of you folks do too. And she lent me one of her books. In fact, it was one of her favorite books. It was Memoirs of an Invisible Man, which is a great book, by the way, if you've never read it. And she handed it to me to take back to Chicago. She looked me straight in the eye, and she said, "You do return books." And my blood ran a little cold. Okay, I said, "Oh, of course." So I took it home and read it. Of course, it was a wonderful book. But then I thought, having this nasty sense of humor, I thought to myself, maybe she would think it would be hysterically funny if I returned it just a few pages at a time. And so I went around to every used bookstore in Chicago to see if I could come up with, an exact copy. I was crazy, So I thought I would do that, and they did not have a copy. It's the only thing that probably saved my life. They didn't have it and everything. They actually returned it intact. And she just looked at me because I said, "Wouldn't that have been funny, Mim? That would have been so funny." And she just came back and she said, "I would kill you." And that's when I met the birds. So I knew she was serious. So I'm.
Well, you still was in the hand.
And
Invisible Man.
Well, that was me. She was trying to tell me to get one, right? Exactly. So, at any rate, so I'm from Chicago, and which is kind of interesting. It's sort of an attitude city, a little bit unlike Saginaw, which is kind of laid back and friendly, sort of like a cold California up here. But in Chicago, for example, you'll see bumper stickers that will say, "Jesus is coming, look busy." That's a Chicago thing. And as I mentioned, I just turned 67 and retired from a health insurance company. And as they suggested, that made me public enemy number one for a lot of people. You know, in fact, my mom never knew what I did for a living because I know she'd been, you know, ashamed. So I told her I was a drug lord, and that made her feel good. So she was proud. And at any rate, so she was a school teacher. She taught the gifted. So she said it was a nice change of pace from, you know, dealing with us as her kids and everything. She could go and deal with the smart kids. Being the son of a school teacher was not everything that it's cracked up to be. I would send postcards from camp, and they would come back corrected and marked, you know, with little pencils and spelling errors and everything else. My dad was a pharmacist. He was actually a Polish pharmacist, and I used to love to tell him the joke about why do Polish people make such terrible pharmacists? Anybody know? Well, because they have a hard time getting those little bottles inside the typewriter. And he never thought that was funny. I don't know what his problem was. But at any rate, I did want to, when I heard about the Garden Club and everything, of course I went on the internet. I wanted to do a little research and everything. And first of all, I did a little research about Saginaw. And found out that Saginaw, as you probably know, is an Ojibwa word for nicer than Flint. I told Mim I was going to use that joke, and she said, and I said, well, you know, I'm not fair. Maybe what if somebody's from, you know, Flint, and they might take offense. And she said, well, this lady, this friend of yours said, oh, anyone from Flint would be too ashamed to admit it. I looked up Saginaw, some things on Wikipedia. It sounds like with emails and everything, most of you ladies are familiar with the internet and everything. This is something my mom, for example, I mean, it's a generation, but she would never have been able to use computers and everything. She'd have been confused. You know, she'd have thought there was the iPad, there's the iMac, there's the iPod, there's the... I give up. But she would do, but actually on Wikipedia, go on to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is, if you go on any web browser like Google or anything, and you type in anything that you're looking up, usually the first entry they'll give you is Wikipedia, which is an encyclopedia. It's an online encyclopedia. But the truth about Wikipedia is that anybody can go on and make changes to what's on the Wikipedia definition or story. This is true. So you can't exactly trust what's on Wikipedia, which, you know, kids learn when they copy their term papers and they go on Wikipedia and they copy things out. There may be some gross mistakes on there. So, you know, the other day I went up, I looked up U.S. Grant, former president and Union General, and it turned out that he had two heads. He was a Siamese twin. And I said, that's ridiculous. I said, Lincoln maybe, but not U.S. Grant, but people will put things on there. Anyway, so I looked up and I found out a couple of other things. I found out about Saginaw, that there's a credit union here in town that's the, what's it, Wanagas? Which apparently was founded by a dyslexic. Or the developer of Seven Bean Salad, I'm not sure which. But, so then I asked him a little bit about the background of the Garden Club, and that was when well, first of all, she told me that this was Saginaw Garden Club number 6. Is that the right number? So, like 15th Presbyterian or 5th Third Bank or something, it keeps you all. And then she really told me that I needed not worry about my gardening skills because, in fact, no one has ever gardened in this club, or at least not, you know. And I guess that's because, like, nothing grows this far north. So
yeah, that's the reason.
That would explain it. But actually, this has just been a flimsy pretext all these years for all you ladies that got tossed out of the junior league for various behavioral problems and discipline. everything. So it's just been like an eating and drinking thing, I guess, forever. So she explained that you'd go to different ladies' houses, and then you'd have a committee, and they would pick, I guess, a theme for the evening and everything, or for the afternoon, and you would cook and everything. So she even shared with me, which I thought was nice. She shared with me her recipes. She's been saving, these recipes, and which actually read a couple of them to me over the phone. She told me actually about skip and go naked. Reason why I came. The old ladies and skip and naked lunch.
Where you're blushing. Why?
Then there was better than sex chocolate cake, which sounded pretty interesting to me. I mean, my first marriage, I'd have shown up just for better than sex 3-week-old tuna casserole. And then finally, just to show that Saginaw isn't any more politically correct than the rest of the country, wetback salad. If you were here for wetback salad, it came with like margaritas, and it was a Mexican night, I guess. So I thought that was pretty embarrassing. Now, I mentioned I just turned 67, and probably like all of you and everything, it's been kind of an adjustment because I never thought I would be 67, or had any idea what it would be like when you do turn 67. And it's different than what you think it is. I mean, you expect some things are going to happen when you turn 67 and everything, but it isn't all just trips to Europe and yacht rides and everything. It isn't all just discounts at Denny's and going to getting the monthly art magazine. I mean, there's more to it than that, as I'm finding out. There's first of all, there's the annoying phone calls. You get these annoying phone calls. ARP sells us out. They have a mailing list. They just sell it to everybody. So that's why you get these horrible phone calls. Like robocalls. I don't know if you get those type of things where it's not even a human being anymore, and they'll just start out, seniors! Seniors, do you know? And then it'll have some horrible thing that can happen to you. Do you know that armed grizzly bears and mountain wolves are coming to your neighborhood, and we're trying to sell you, a bracelet, I guess, that you wear. So if an armed gorilla attacks you, somebody knows about it, or else, just whatever, and they try and terrify you, credit cards and everything, So even Medicare supplement is scary. If you ever try to figure those things out, they got all these plans, but G is missing and HIJ are missing and everything like that. They do that purposely just to mess us up. So just be aware of the fact that they just aren't nice people. What I found is that my theory, at least, is that getting a little older is a genetic thing. Genes kick in at different times in the course of your life, and it may differ, by how old somebody is, but they happen no matter what you do. Like early on, you probably remember the parent gene. This is the one where when you're raising your own kids, you finally find yourself saying things that your mother said that you swore you would never say. Because I told you so. Or your face is going to stick like that. I would never say that, but you have no choice. Genetically, it kicks in. There's the nearsighted gene that comes in fairly early. That can happen all at once. I discovered I was taking my mom for a ride through the country, and I had a road map. And I thought, we're going to go up here to Wisconsin, we're going to drive around and everything. We got about halfway where we were going. And I said, I'll take out the map again. And I couldn't read it. So I said, I put it on a tree. And I walked back about half a mile. That was the only way I could get us home, because all of a sudden I needed reading glasses. Overnight. It's literally in the course of a car ride. So I began wondering about all these different things. And so there's then there's the hair thing, which happens. And either, of course, turns kind of attractive silver. Kathy likes to tell me that it looked like Jamie Dimon, who's the chairman of Chase Bank. But nobody so far has really bought that. At least not at singles bars. I'm Jamie Diamond. It doesn't work. Or if you're male, of course, there's the baldness thing. If you have those genes and everything. I had my 50th high school reunion last week, and I have to admit I'm a little vain about my hair, so I spent most of the evening in the bathroom combing, to kind of show off to the guys. See, this is what it looks like. That's genetic and everything. I'm sorry I said all these bad things about my father growing up, because actually he finally paid off. Then of course you forget things, right? That's kind of annoying and everything like that. Like especially if it's like your wife's name. That's a bad thing. Hey, babe. How we doing, huh? Or of course, why did I come into this room, right? That happens a lot, at least nowadays, so they know. Well, there's a toilet. That should be a clue. Then there's some other ones that are the polyester gene. You get that one? My mom hit that one early. That's where you think that you really look good in a yellow polyester windbreaker with a baseball cap or something. For men, it's the hush puppy gene. Men you don't wear leather shoes anymore. They have to be covered. Then there's a couple of driving gene. Of course, that's kind of disappointing. This is unusual. You don't necessarily. A lot of times you don't believe you have these things. This is one where you selectively lose part of your vision and part of your hearing when you're driving. And what you can no longer see and hear are your turn signals. So when you're driving along and everything, it's like of course you turn them off, the damn things are on, but you don't know. When you're just driving, you don't see them. Everybody's making fun of you, but it's not your fault. It's genetic. Another one is you lose all the strength in your right foot when you're driving. Okay, so no matter how hard you want to press on the gas pedal, the car won't go faster than 40 miles an hour. You can put both feet, you can get it. It's like, it's not your fault. People say, senior citizens, they don't know how to drive it. They don't understand. I'm trying as hard as I can. So that's the driving gene. There's the can't eat out late gene. I used to love to eat at 8 o'clock. And you'd go out, we're going to have dinner at 8. I'll leave reservations for maybe 9. We'll have cocktails beforehand. We're going to stay out and everything. And then all of a sudden it's 4:30. And originally I thought it was just, people, seniors like to eat early just so they could avoid other people's children. Because if you went early, it was before the kids went, and, if they're not your grandchildren, obviously you're allergic to them. And then finally, my favorite, this hits early too, this is music gene. This is where, at some point, magically, any song that was written or recorded after 1980 is just noise, right? That's not music. Rap music, any of that and everything. So there's this process of discovery that I'm kind of going through one at a time. And I hope you're all patient with me because I'm a slow learner. But I should want to thank you for the opportunity to speak to all of you this evening. And you can, this afternoon, you can talk to Mim or Carol to lodge all of your protests and everything that she shared. And have a great meeting. I know you guys got a hard game coming up shortly, so I wouldn't want to interrupt even one deal. I wouldn't want to go on. So thank you very, very much.
If I weren't so old, I'd still...
You weren't so old, I would then.